Jonas Keene thought his lot a hard one, because his children were all failures. But I know of a fate more trying than that. It is to be a failure while your children are successes. For I raised a brood of eagles, who flew away at last, leaving me, a crow on the abandoned bough. Then, with the ambition to prefix honorable to my name, and thus to win my children's admiration, I ran for county superintendent of schools, spending my accumulations to win, and lost. That fall, my daughter received first prize in Paris for her picture entitled The Old Mill. It was of the watermill before Henry Wilkin put in steam. That feeling that I was not worthy of her finished me.
You would not believe, would you, that I came from good Welsh stock, that I was purer blood than the white trash here, and more direct lineage than the New Englanders and the Virginians of Spoon River. You would not believe I'd been to school and read some books. You saw me only as a run-down man with matted hair and a beard and ragged clothes. Sometimes a man's life turns into a cancer from being bruised and continually bruised, and swells into a purplish mass, like the growth on stalks of corn. Here was I, a carpenter mirrored in the bog of life, into which I walked thinking it was a meadow, with my slaughtern for a wife, and poor Minerva, my daughter, whom you tormented and drove to death. So I crept like a snail through the days of my life. No more you hear my footsteps in the morning, resounding on the hollow sidewalks, going to the grocery store for a little cornmeal and a nickel's worth of bacon.
I was among multitudes of children, dancing at the foot of a mountain. A breeze blew out of the east and swept them as leaves, driving some up the slopes. All was changed. Here were flying lights and mystic moons and dream music. A cloud fell upon us, and when it lifted, all was changed. I was now amid multitudes who were wrangling. Then a figure in shimmering gold, one with a trumpet and one with a scepter, stood before me. They mocked me, danced a rigadoon, and vanished. All was changed again. Out of a bower of poppies, a woman bared her breast and lifted her open mouth to mine. I kissed her. The taste of her lips was like salt. She left blood on my lips, and I fell exhausted. I arose and ascended higher, but a mist as from an iceberg clouded my steps. I was cold and in pain. Then the sun streamed on me again, and I saw the mist below me hiding all below them. And I bent over my staff, knew myself silhouetted against the snow, and above me was the soundless air, pierced by a cone of ice, over which hung a solitary star. A shudder of ecstasy, a shudder of fear ran through me, but I could not return to the slopes. Nay, I wished not to return. For the spent waves of the sympathy of freedom lapped the ethereal cliffs about me. Therefore, I climbed to the pinnacle. I flung away my staff. I touched that star, and with my outstretched hand, I vanished utterly. For the mountain delivers to infinite truth, whosoever touches the star.
Almost the shell of a woman after the surgeon's knife, and almost a year to creep back into strength, until the dawn of our wedding decennial found me my seeming self again. We walked the forest together by a path of soundless moss and turf, but I could not look in your eyes, and you could not look into my eyes, for such sorrow was ours, the beginning of grey in your hair, and I but a shell of myself. And what did we talk of? Sky and water, anything most to hide our thoughts, and then your gift of wild roses, set on the table to grace our dinner. Poor heart, how bravely you struggled to imagine and live a remembered rapture. But then my spirit drooped as the night came on, and you left me alone in my room for a while, as you did when I was a bride. Oh, poor heart. I looked in the mirror and something said, one should be all dead when one is half dead, nor ever mock life, nor ever cheat love. And I did it there, looking in the mirror. Dear, have you ever understood?
We quarreled that morning, for he was 65 and I was 30, and I was nervous and heavy with the child whose birth I dreaded. I thought over the last letter written me by that estranged young soul whose betrayal of me I had concealed by marrying the old man. Then I took morphine and sat down to read. Across the blackness that came over my eyes, I see the flickering light of these words even now. And Jesus said unto him, Verily I say unto thee, today thou shalt be with me in paradise.
Out of me, unworthy and unknown, the vibrations of deathless music. With malice toward none, with charity for all. Out of me, the forgiveness of millions towards millions, and the beneficent face of a nation, shining with justice and truth. I am Anne Rutledge, who sleep beneath these weeds, beloved in the life of Abraham Lincoln, wedded to him, not through union, but through separation. Bloom forever, O Republic, from the dust of my bosom.
My parents thought I would be as great as Edison or greater, for as a boy I made balloons, and wondrous kites, and toys with clocks, and little engines with tracks to run on, and telephones of cans and thread. I played the cornet and painted pictures, modeled in clay and took the part of the villain in the Octoroon. But at 21 I married, and had to live, and so to live I learned the trade of making watches, and kept the jewelry store on the square. Thinking.
thinking, thinking, not of business, but of the engine I studied the calculus to build, and all of Spoon River watched and waited to see, but it never worked. And a few kind souls believed my genius was somehow hampered by the store. It wasn't true. The truth was this: I didn't have the brains.
After I had attended lectures at our Chautauqua and studied French for 20 years, committing the grammar almost by heart, I thought I'd take a trip to Paris to give my culture a final polish. So I went to Piora for a passport. Thomas Rhodes was on the train that morning, and there the clerk of the district court made me swear to support and defend the Constitution. Yes, even me, who couldn't defend or support it at all. And what do you think? That very morning, the federal judge in the very next room to the room where I took the oath decided the Constitution exempted Rhodes from paying taxes for the waterworks of Spoon River.
This I saw with my own eyes. A cliff swallow made her nest in a hole of the high clay bank there near Miller's Ford. But no sooner were the young hatched than a snake crawled up to the nest to devour the brood. Then the mother swallow with swift flutterings and shrill cries fought at the snake, blinding him with the beat of her wings, until he, wriggling and rearing his head, fell backward down the bank into Spoon River and was drowned. Scarcely an hour passed until a shrike impaled the mother swallow on a thorn. As for myself, I overcame my lower nature, only to be destroyed by my brother's ambition.
No other man, unless it was Doc Hill, did more for people in this town than I. And all the weak, the halt, the improvident, and those who could not pay, they flocked to me. I was good-hearted, easy Dr. Myers. I was healthy, happy, in comfortable fortune, blessed with a congenial mate, my children raised, all wedded, doing well in the world. And then one night, Minerva, the town poetess, she came to me in her trouble, crying. I tried to help her out. She died. They indicted me. The newspapers disgraced me. My wife perished of a broken heart, and pneumonia finished me.
With our hearts like drifting suns, had we but walked, as often before, the April fields till starlight, silkened over with viewless gauze the darkness under the cliff, our trysting place in the wood where the brook turns, had we but passed from wooing, like notes of music that run together into winning in the inspired improvisation of love. But to put back of us as the canticle ended, the rapt enchantment of the flesh, and our souls swooned, down, down, where time was not, nor space, nor ourselves annihilated in love, to leave these behind for a room with lamps. to stand with our secret mocking itself and hiding itself amid flowers and mandolins, stared at by all in salad and coffee, and to see him tremble and feel myself present as one who signs a bond, not flaming with gifts and pledges, heaped with rosy hands over his brow, and then, oh night deliberate and lovely, with all of our wooing blotted out by the winning, in a chosen room in an hour that was known to all. Next day he sat so listless, almost cold, so strangely changed, wondering why I wept, till a kind of sick despair and voluptuous madness seized us to make the pact of death. A stalk of the earth sphere, frail as starlight, waiting to be drawn once again into creation's stream, but next time to be given birth, gazed at by Raphael and St. Francis, sometimes as they pass. For I and their little brother, to be known clearly face to face, through a cycle of birth hereafter run. You may know the seed in the soil, you may feel the cold rain fall, but only the earth sphere, only heaven knows the secret of the seed. In the nuptial chamber under the soil, throw me into the stream again. Give me another trial. Save me, Shelley.
Yes, here I lie, close to a stunted rose bush, in a forgotten place near the fence, where the thickets from Seaver's woods have crept over, growing sparsely. And you are a leader in New York, the wife of a noted millionaire, a name in the society columns, beautiful, admired, magnified, perhaps, by the mirage of distance. You have succeeded. I have failed in the eyes of the world. You are alive. I am dead. Yet I know that I vanquished your spirit, and I know that lying here, far from you, unheard of among your great friends, in the brilliant world where you move, I am really the unconquerable power over your life that robs it of complete triumph. You observe the carven hand with the index finger pointing heavenward. That is the direction, no doubt. But how shall one follow it? It is well to abstain from murder and lust, to forgive, do good to others, worship God without graven images. But these are external means, after all, by which you chiefly do good to yourself. The inner kernel is freedom. It is light, purity. I can no more find the goal or lose it according to your vision.
If I could have lived another year, I could have finished my flying machine and become rich and famous. Hence, it is fitting the workman who tried to chisel a dove for me made it look more like a chicken. For what is it all but being hatched and running about the yard to the day of the block? save that a man has an angel's brain and sees the acts from the first.
I was 16, and I had the most terrible dreams. And I had specks before my eyes, and nervous weakness, and I couldn't remember the books that I read, like Frank Drummer, who memorized page after page, and my back was weak, and I worried, and I was embarrassed, and I stammered my lessons. And when I stood up to recite, I'd forget everything I had studied. Well, I saw Dr. Weiss's advertisement, and there I read everything in print just as if he had known me, and about the dreams which I couldn't help. So I knew I was marked for an early grave, and I worried until I had a cough. And then the dreams stopped, and I slept the sleep without dreams, here on the hill by the river.
At first you will not know what they mean, and you may never know, and we may never tell you, these sudden flashes in your soul, like lambent lightning on snowy clouds at midnight when the moon is full. They come in solitude, or, perhaps, you sit with your friend, and all at once a silence falls on speech, and his eyes without a flicker glow at you. You two have seen the secret together. He sees it in you, and you in him. And there you sit, thrilling, lest the mystery stand before you and strike you dead, with a splendor like the sun's. Be brave, all souls who have such visions, as your body's alive as mine is dead. You're catching a little whiff of the ether reserved for God himself.
Summer, fall, winter, spring, after each other drifting past my window drifting, and I lay so many years watching them drift, counting the years till a terror came into my heart at times with the feeling that I had become eternal. At last, my 100th year was reached, and still I lay hearing the tick of a clock, and the low of cattle, and the scream of a jay flying through falling leaves. Day after day, alone in a room of the house of a daughter-in-law stricken with age and gray. And by night, or looking out the window by day, my thought ran back, it seemed through infinite time, to North Carolina and all my girlhood days. And John, my John, awaited the war with the British, and all the children, the deaths, and all the sorrows. In that stretch of years, like a prairie in Illinois, through which great figures passed like hurrying horsemen, Washington, Jefferson, Jackson, Webster, Clay. Oh, beautiful young republic for whom my John and I gave all of our strength and love. And oh, my John, why when I lay so helpless in bed for years praying for you to come, was your coming delayed? Seeing that with a cry of rapture like I uttered. When you found me in old Virginia after the war, I cried when I beheld you there by the bed, as the sun stood low in the west, growing smaller and fainter, in the light of your face.
I was crushed between Altjed and Armour. I lost many friends, much time and money fighting for Altjed, whom Editor Whedon denounced as the candidate of gamblers and anarchists. Then Armour started to ship dressed meat to Spoon River, forcing me to shut down my slaughterhouse, and my butcher shop went all to pieces. The new forces of Altjed and Armour caught me at the same time. I thought it due me to recoup the money I lost and make good the friends that left me, for the governor to appoint me canal commissioner. Instead, he appointed Waden of the Spoon River Argus. So, I ran for legislator and was elected. I said to hell with principle and sold my vote on Charles T. Yerke's streetcar franchise. Of course, I was one of the fellows they caught. Who was it? Armour, Altjed, or myself that ruined me?
Here I am, there you'll be, miles and miles away from me. I can see the goodbye. Still, best of friends have to part. Don't lose sleep and don't lose heart. You know me, so baby don't cry. I'd rather be blue thinking of you. I'd rather be blue over you than be happy with somebody else. I can't do without you. For you I'm strong, I'm crazy about you. About you. Don't stay too long. I need a little little ooh, and a I'd rather be blue, thinking of you. I'd rather be blue.
Now, I am here to do honor to Spoon River, here beside the family whence I sprang. No one cares now where I dined or lived or whom I entertained or how often I took the cure at Baden Baden.
For you I'm strong, I'm crazy about you. Don't stay too long.
I sat on the bank above Bernadotte and dropped crumbs in the water, just to see the minnows bump each other until the strongest got the prize. Or I went to my little pasture, where the peaceful swine were asleep in the wallow, or nosing each other lovingly, and emptied a basket of yellow corn, and watched them push and squeal and bite and trample each other to get to the corn. And I saw how Christian Dahlman's farm, of more than 3,000 acres, swallowed the patch of Felix Schmidt as a bass will swallow a minnow. And I say, if there's anything in man, spirit or conscience or breath of God, that makes him different from fishes or hogs, I'd like to see it work.
Herbert broke our engagement of 8 years. When Annabelle returned to the village from the seminary. Ah me, if I had let my love for him alone, it might have grown into a beautiful sorrow. Who knows? Filling my life with healing fragrance. But I tortured it. I poisoned it. I blinded its eyes, and it became hatred. Deadly ivy instead of clematis. And my soul fell from its support. Its tendrils tangled in decay. Do not let the will play gardener to your soul. Unless you are sure it is wiser than your soul's nature.
What is the Good Feet store? A shoe store? Actually, we're an arch support store.
Where the fuck? Look, how the fuck did you know? I was gonna fucking ask you if you have been experiencing some images or some weird things going on with your head. Have you been having headaches? Have you been seeing things? But you wouldn't let me fucking finish. Jesus. I don't have to be such a dick. It's confidential and I can't really talk to you about it. What is going on? Dude, seriously? This is like my 8th one of the day, bro, okay? I've got to be out of here by 8. Bill's got to go home to his family. I don't have time for this shit, okay? Would you listen, okay? Would you all right? Damn. Jesus. Okay, look, I can't really tell you why you're here, but I can say for a fact that you're special. Yeah, you're special, all right? Well, that's great, isn't it? Fuck this. I'm so tired. Okay, you have been selected out of the billions of people in the world to experience memories and flashes of your previous life. Okay? Is that clearing things up for you? So how do I get rid of this thing? How can I... So how you experience it is you breathe and calm down. Calm. I need to be calm. I don't even know where the fuck I am right now, and you're telling me to be calm? How can I fucking be calm? Who are you? Where the fuck am I? And just calm the fuck down. Alright? Calm down. Jesus. Breathe and let it happen. Let all the images flash through your head, because as soon as you start thinking about something else, it'll leave. Alright? Just trust me. Dick. Fine. You win. It's not fucking working. Well, it's not like Mr. Clean's magic eraser or anything. Just fucking listen. Bill, get the chair. Get the chair. Son of a bitch. It didn't... you doing? Am I just stuck here? Hello? The earth keeps some vibration going, I guess. There in your heart, and that is you. And if the people find you can fiddle, why, fiddle you must for all your life. What do you see, a harvest of clover, or a meadow to walk through to the river? The winds and the corn, you rub your hands for beeves hereafter ready for market. Or else you hear the rustle of skirts, like the girls went dancing at Little Grove. That someone did not stop in the road. I ended up with 40 acres. I ended up with a broken fiddle, and a broken laugh, and 1,000 memories. And not one single regret.
The pine woods on the hill and the farmhouse miles away showed clear as though behind a lens under a sky of peacock blue. But a blanket of cloud by afternoon muffled the earth, and you walked the road and the clover field where the only sound was the cricket's liquid tremolo. Then the sun went down between great drifts of distant storms, for a rising wind swept clean the sky and blew the flames of the unprotected stars and swayed the russet moon, hanging between the rim of the hill and the twinkling boughs of the apple orchard. You walked the shore in thought, where the throats of the waves were like whip-poor wills, singing beneath the water and crying to the wash of the wind in the cedar trees, till you stood, too full for tears, by the cot, and looking up saw Jupiter tipping the spire of the giant pine, and looking down saw my vacant chair rocked by the wind on the lonely porch. Be brave, beloved.